what are the areas of interest that you would recommend as someone who's been in the business for a long time for SMEs, especially young graduates?
Well, I believe in the value chain of agriculture, there's so much, really. I mean, one could be a graduate of agri-science, could be into the research and development. One could be in the input supply, in the fertilizer and agronutrients, in the seed supply, and then improve seedling, better practicing, hiring equipment and tractors and implements to the farmers. Where you can own your land, then you are the king. Where you can have a land, definitely if you have a land, you can do rice, you can do maize, you can do cassava, you can do tomato, you can do all other vegetables. There's so much value and money in this particular ones that I mentioned. Sorghum is there, millet is there. There's no one that today, if you look at the price and the proper output, agri practices that you can do, I guarantee you there's nothing less than 50% margin you can make on these businesses. But the problem is, it's all fragmented. It needs to come into one. Now, why do I say? Because when there's a fragmented approach, then you have somebody not knowing the right practice to do, and somebody doing the right practice, and the whole market is distorted. But if we start bringing the small farmers into clusters, then we can educate them.
Tell us about the Gas to Health initiative that you support.
The Gas to Health initiative, which I'm the chairman of this, is an NGO, which I started myself with some other very good Nigerians. And we look at the suffering in kerosene, firewood, the environment, and so on. And said, okay, first let's start with the awareness. Let's start with an NGO so that we will now showcase to this Mama Put and all these vendors who use firewood that it's a better substitution economically, health-wise, and environmentally wise. In Abuja alone, we discovered there are over 800 Mama Put locations. And we started giving up to about 250 of them free cooking utensils, stove with the cylinders. Now, every one of them that switched to gas had never come back to firewood or any other alternative. And then we linked them up with LPG suppliers within their catchment area to supply them. They've seen that it is much better and more stable price than the firewood, and it's environmentally better and health-wise. The smoke they inhale per day, according to some researchers, is like smoking 20 packets of cigarette a day. Someone who's cooking and directly inhaling the smoke. So it's also hazardous to their eyes, their lungs, and their system. So we've been able to now gradually bring them into this, and we want to expand this NGO nationwide.
Now let's talk about intergenerational wealth. In a country where even the most lavish wealth typically will not outlast the creator generation, the Dantata clan, to which you belong, has proved remarkably odds-defying. It's the fourth generation, I think, of wealth creation. What would you attribute this to, besides the grace of God?
Well, grace of God is everything. We can just say, apart from that, what's our own human thoughts? But the final call is in God's hands. A few things I can recollect back from our grandfather, Alhaji Sani Dantata, and from the history I've had from him, from Alhaji Amin Dantata, of the history of Alhassan Dantata, being part of our families from Dantata and Fatus and Dongote. We've seen the modesty from the beginning, the simplicity of the founding fathers, and the push to always aspire for more and look for further than your current frontier, and pass that message on to the next generation to be hardworking, to look for the survival, and never put your next generation in so much comfort that they feel that money is just there hanging. Make them to work for it, make sure that they earn what they get, and if they don't, make sure that they can realize the reason of good hard work or no good hard work. People ask, how do you make it? It's simple about saying, I will give you my best effort. I will give you capacity. I will help you where you now come up with your entrepreneurial ideas. It's not about saying, no, I'm alone. I'm only for myself. Let everyone cater for his or herself. I've had a story of the Alhassan Dantata when he was younger. He had 2 other brothers, where at one time he called all his other brothers and split what he had. They didn't have fortune as he had, and gave them equal of what he had at one time, and said, let all of them go and strive to make. Some of them did make better, but still he propelled higher than them. So when you say grace of God is always there, but the spirit is about helping the next to understand, go and work. I'm not going to give you food on your table, but I'll give you the capacity to bring food to your own table. And I think that inspiration is what pushes. Maybe some families realize that it doesn't last too long in many generations, because they make the next generation so dependent on them, thinking that they've created enough that you don't have to work, you don't have to suffer. But I believe that's the wrong approach. You must make them, they may not suffer as much as you had, but they must work and take some suffering and learning in the process of that. Then I believe with that, like I said, everything is by the grace of God. That's our own human efforts, and I believe with that, with grace of God, then you get the answer.
You are co-founder and vice chairman of the Dongote Group. Your brother and group president, Aliko Dongote, has quite a reputation in the business world. Does that put any pressure on you?
I don't know what kind of pressure is this. Expectations. People's expectations is that, this is so, but that really doesn't bother me, because I feel, everything has its own time and its own course. And like I said, our background is about not only me, it's about we and we and we all the time. So if everyone in the family is great, then all of us are great. And that's what I believe in. So I think from my background, that's what I appreciate. And that's why we're proud whatever he does or he's achieved, or any one of us does or achieves. So I believe, we believe that's the spirit of the family. And if once you start taking pressure from that, then you are going out of your bounds, because you can't determine what comes tomorrow. It's only, like you said rightly, is by the grace of God. So things should be looked at that way, and everybody should put his own effort to ensure that you create those values, you sustain those values, and do your best to ensure that it's sustained and built on by the next generation.
Sani Dongote, we thank you for it.
Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.
And that's our program, View from the Top. Thank you for watching. Please join us next time when the program returns. But between now and then, let's continue our conversation online at channelstv.com. And do tweet me your thoughts on today's program at Modele SY. Thank you again for watching, and see you soon.